why small things matter for your nervous system, because big joy actually requires a lot of capacity. Small joy builds capacity, okay? Small moments of pleasure retrain the nervous system to actually downshift because they're not a big, huge requirement. They're just little ones that allow us to build one on top of the other. They help move the body out of that fight or flight without forcing us to step into rest. And this is how women start reconnecting to themselves without overwhelm. So it's those little short moments of deep breathing. It's pausing before you put your car in reverse. It's taking 5 minutes to sit on the couch in between tasks. Okay, it's little micro moments throughout the day that help to bring our central nervous system back down. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Cassie Hutton, your host of this podcast, Christian Wellness for Weary Women. I'm so glad that you're here. So today is a little bit of a special episode centered around Valentine's Day. So this is coming out either the Tuesday before Valentine's or the Tuesday after Valentine's. And this was what you're going to see in just a minute is a presentation. So if you are listening to this on Apple or you're listening to this on Spotify, you can go to YouTube and actually see my presentation, but I'm basically reading it all out to you and talking it out. So it's not necessary. But if you're on YouTube, you get to see the visually aesthetic and pleasing presentation that I gave you. But it was part of the Sweet on Me Valentine Summit that I participated in. And if you're on my email list, then you get an opportunity to be a part of these free summits and bundles that I try to participate in every single month. So just go to the show notes below the podcast episode, just scroll down there and you'll see in the episode description, you'll see a link to sign up for my email list. And when you do, you also get a free resource about detoxing the overwhelm. So just go get on the email list so that you can be a part of these amazing free bundles and summits each month. I usually offer the same thing each month, but if you've never been on it or you've never had access to it, start signing up and you get even more free resources. Usually the thing that I offer for free is called the Inner Healing Toolkit for Christian Women. And it's usually a big hit. I usually get a lot of signups for it. So anyways, that's my spiel for you. I would really love to see you on the email list because I love writing my emails and sharing with you. Plus, you never miss a podcast episode because I make sure that goes out in the emails as well. So thanks for joining me today. And next, you will see what the presentation was all about. And I'll see you next week. Hello, friends. Welcome to my presentation at the Sweet on Me Summit. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you are having a wonderful Valentine's season, and I hope that you are learning to show yourself some love, and that it's not always about giving out, but it's also about receiving and even giving to yourself and filling your own bucket. So the topic that I'm going to talk about today is called Unwrap Joy, Finding Pleasure in the Small Things. And I'm so excited to talk about this. Whenever I saw this topic, I thought I can definitely speak on that because I know what it's like to not have joy and I know what it's like to experience joy. And we're going to talk about my message and my ideal person that I work with on a daily basis. I work with women who are burned out and depleted. They have no resources left in their bucket. And this will contribute to not being able to find joy. And so we're going to touch on that as we dive into this topic today. I hope that your February is looking a lot brighter than January. It's always in the cold months of winter that things just get really depressing, and it's really easy to not find joy in the small things. So the small ways that I am finding joy, first of all, February is my birthday month. My birthday is on the 7th. And so that's always something really good to look forward to. Not to mention just the hearts and the pinks. Those are the little joys, right? The pleasures in the small things, the colors that this world is giving us. So moving on, who I am, I'm Cassie. Nice to meet you.
I am an HTMA practitioner and trauma-informed functional wellness coach. And so if you don't know what HTMA testing is, it stands for hair tissue mineral analysis. And that's what I do. I work with women who want to heal functionally and holistically and at the root. And I'm so thankful to be able to share these headshots that I got just recently, because I went to a studio and got new headshots, and they had a whole Valentine's wall set up. And I was like, I am taking pictures with that. February is my birthday month. I am taking advantage of that. And so this fit perfectly with the theme today. And I hope you're enjoying it. So, what is joy and what isn't joy, and how can we regain our joy? Joy isn't something that you can practice harder. It returns when the body feels safe enough to receive it. And so this is what I teach on a lot, is about helping women find safety in their body again. They don't understand why they're so anxious. They don't understand, why they all of a sudden can't see things, the gray areas anymore. They can't hold the gray space anymore. Everything is black and white, do or don't, yes or no, right or wrong. And whenever they're met with something that is not an easy yes or no, it can feel very overwhelming, because the body doesn't feel like it's a safe place to be. And so, excuse me, we try to help the body find safety again. And so it is in finding the small joys that we can create safety in the body again, but it doesn't just come with rethinking or trying harder in changing our mindset. So for burned out women, joy disappears before gratitude journals ever help. The nervous system is in survival mode because it's physically depleted. It has no resources left to pull from. Pleasure feels very unfamiliar and even unsafe. And so if you think about in the bedroom, right? If you're a mother and you're overstimulated, the last thing that you want to do is give out in the bedroom, right? You need to feel safe. You need to feel like you can take a deep breath again. You need to feel like it's time. You need to feel like you're done being needed, and it's time for someone to give back, right? Time for you to just be and exist. That's what creates safety. One thing I want to touch on when we're talking about depletion, a lot of women go and get their blood work done, and that blood work comes back normal. Whereas on a hair tissue mineral analysis test, a lot of times we will see there's always something that comes back on a HTMA test. No matter what, there will always be something to work on. So that's kind of the beauty of not wasting your money on a test. But what we see is we're looking at the tissues of the body compared to a blood test that's seeing what's going on in real time. Hair tissue tells us what's been happening over a 2 to 3 month time period. And so it can really help us see also why the blood it's homeostatic. And so why it's staying at good levels is because it's pulling from the tissues. It's pulling the calcium, the magnesium, the sodium, the potassium, the copper, the zinc, all of those minerals that you see on, your elements table. It's pulling that from the tissues and making sure the blood has what it needs, because the body is really, really smart in making sure the blood has what it needs to keep you alive, to keep you functioning every day. And so this is a lot of times why blood tests will show up normal, and we can, but yet we're still experiencing all of these terrible symptoms, including the loss of joy. So why joy can feel hard right now. If joy feels absent, I can promise you there's nothing wrong with you. It's not a mindset issue. It's not a character flaw going on. It's literally that your body doesn't have the resources to feel the joy, okay? One of the things that I see a lot is really high calcium levels on a hair tissue mineral analysis. And this is, if you think about calcium, it's a hard mineral. It literally is the body armoring itself against the world to try to protect itself, because it's had to learn to protect itself. And so what happens, the calcium shells over, it gets hard. So the body gets hard. And so as you can imagine, for someone who's not soft, for someone who's not open and receptive, joy can feel completely absent from that person. And you may experience it yourself, or you may know someone, and this is maybe what's going on with them. Chronic stress, overgiving, and depletion narrow the nervous system. And when the body is braced, you're constantly bracing for impact, and you're never able to take a deep breath and relax. It can register pleasure. It can't register pleasure, not even small pleasures. So many women are trying to mentally access joy while their bodies are still in that protection mode. And so this is a big one right here that I think a lot of us are trying to mentally access joy and think that we can think our way into it or shift our mindset into it when our body is saying, no, we have to take a pause. So if your system is focused on survival during the day, joy just doesn't register as important, you can imagine. So redefining pleasure. Pleasure is not indulgence, and pleasure is actually signals of safety in the body. So here's just some simple things that you might notice within yourself if you do or don't have joy. So if you're able to exhale without thinking about it, okay? So just, like if you've had a stressful day, you might catch yourself taking those deep breaths or letting out kind of that sigh through the day. It may not be a sigh of relief. It may be a sigh of exhaustion. This is literally your body in stress mode, bracing itself for the impact of what's going on, especially if you have lots of little children at home and you're an overwhelmed mom, then you might find yourself in that place a lot. If you're dealing with a lot of family issues going on, or you're just in a stressful place, you might find yourself sighing a lot. But if you can exhale without thinking about it, that deep breath, that lower abdomen breath and not deep, shallow chest breaths, this is a sign of safety in the body and therefore pleasure. Warm food that is actually satisfying is a small joy. Feeling supported instead of needed. This is a big one. Feeling supported instead of needed. As a mom of 5 children, 2 that are still toddlers, and the oldest 2 are preteens, this one feels like a huge yes to me. I want to feel supported instead of just needed all the time. I don't want to just be needed. I want to feel supported. So find your group of people. If that's your husband, make sure he knows, look, I just need to feel support from you. I don't need to be needed from you. I don't need you to fix it. I just need to feel supported from you. And talk to your people. Let them know this is what you need. This is huge, especially for people in burnout, because I'm going to say because I've been there. When I was in my deepest place of burnout, again, that black and white, not being able to see the void. Another part of being in deep burnout is I can't see beyond what's right in front of me, which is the help that I needed. I couldn't see that I did have help right down the street. I didn't see that I could call my mom and ask for help. I didn't see that I could call my husband and say, hey, I just need you. It was always an emotional wreck when I would call them, like, I'm done. I've reached my 10 out of 10 limit, instead of stopping at that 7 out of 10 limit where I was still able to somewhat think through my problems, okay? And so talk to your people, let them know what you need. Sitting without planning the next thing, just sitting, doing nothing. This is actually part of who we are as human beings. We're not human doers, we're human beings. And so this is part of being a human being, is to sit and just be without planning, without thinking about the next thing. And that is very hard. That is very, very hard to do. But you have to start practicing it, putting it into place. Even if it means just like when I get done recording this for you guys, I'm going to need to take a good 5-minute break before I just move on into planning the next thing, because I do have more things to do today. They have to get done today because I'm a little bit behind. But I'm going to take that 5 minutes to just do nothing, to just sit and be, to allow the central nervous system to come back down, to calm down, and to allow my body to feel like it's safe again and not just jumping from one thing to the next. This is huge. As women, this is a big deal for us. We've got to start learning to take a break in between tasks. And then just allow a moment where your shoulders drop. And that just goes hand in hand with the deep breathing exercises. Why small things matter for your nervous system? Because big joy actually requires a lot of capacity. Small joy builds capacity, okay? Small moments of pleasure retrain the nervous system to actually downshift, because they're not a big, huge requirement. They're just little ones that allow us to build one on top of the other. They help move the body out of that fight or flight without forcing us to step into rest. And this is how women start reconnecting to themselves without overwhelm. So it's those little short moments of deep breathing. It's pausing before you put your car in reverse. It's taking 5 minutes to sit on the couch in between tasks. Okay, it's little micro moments throughout the day that help to bring our central nervous system back down. And so I'm teaching you the why behind this. This matters. I don't just want to give you, hey, do these things to find joy in life. No, here's how you can actually find joy in life instead of me just giving you what to do. So the real blocks to joy is guilt. A lot of us feel guilty. We were raised in a household that was constantly moving, doing, going. You can't sit down. You can't rest. Dad comes home. You better be doing something. You better not look like you've been sitting on your butt all day. A hypervigilance. I can't relax yet. That's that moment where you take those 5 minutes to just relax and your mind is racing. I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this and I got to do that and I can't stop to do this. That's that hypervigilance. Your mind is going, and yet your body is fatigued. We call this wired but tired. The mind is wired, but the body is so tired, it doesn't have the resources or the energy capacity to get through the day. I was there. It was very bad. I basically woke up crying because I knew I didn't have the energy to keep up with my toddlers. Okay, my newborn and my toddler. I mean, literally at noon, I was calling my husband, like, you have to come home and help me. Like, I cannot do this. And this was multiple times a week. It was pretty bad for a while. Spiritualized self-denial. So in other words, you can't stop because you believe others need me more. You're constantly giving out. That's that constant people pleasing, that fawning, that if I don't do this, things won't get taken care of mentality. And so I promise you, if you don't do it, someone will take care of it. Someone will step in and do their part. And that's the reason they haven't done their part, is because you've done it for too long. You've kind of actually been the one that has been enabling the situation to keep going. And then this is the big one. I saved the best for last, but mineral depletion, under eating, blood sugar crashes, consuming foods that your body can't digest well. These are actually the real blocks to you not finding joy, to you not being able to see joy in the everyday moments of life. When you're depleted, it doesn't matter how much grounding you do. It doesn't matter how much journaling you do, how much prayer you do, how much you connect back with nature, how much sunshine you get. If you're not restoring your actual mineral depletion, if you're not actually eating enough food, you're not hydrating yourself enough with good mineral-rich water, or you're eating foods that are causing all blood sugar dysregulation all throughout the day, it doesn't matter how much grounding exercises you do, you will never get back to that place of restoring the body to joy, because the body will constantly still be in fight or flight mode because it's still unsafe enough, because it doesn't have the physical resources, the foundation for building upon that joy. So sometimes joy isn't missing because of mindset, it's missing because your body is underfueled and overdrawn. So here we go, some simple grounded practices. Again, pleasure does not equal productivity. I think that's really easy for a lot of women to find themselves in, or just a lot of people to find themselves in. If you're not being productive, you feel like you can't find joy, or you feel like you're not being good enough, right? That's kind of that guilt trip that we give ourselves. And so one thing that you can do, just pause, even if it's just once a day. If you're pausing at lunchtime to make sure that you're sitting, you're taking a deep breath before you eat, you're allowing blood flow. When you do that, you're allowing blood flow to actually come to the abdomen because you're in rest and digest now. Whereas if you're eating on the go, you're not taking that deep breath before you eat, you're not praying and silencing the voices before you eat, then you're in fight or flight mode and blood is being rushed to the limbs because it thinks you're still running from a bear. It doesn't know the difference. The body's going to react the same way and send the blood flow to the limbs instead of the gut so that it can actually digest your food. So just pausing once a day to eat your lunch would be a great practice. That would be really simple. Another thing you could do, choose one neutral or pleasant sensation. So a warm drink, going out and getting that sunlight and taking deep breaths in the sunlight, stretching, something that is low activity, but you say, like, I love this, right? Like for most of us, that's probably, when I say warm drink, you're probably thinking of your coffee in the morning. Please stop drinking your coffee, caffeinated coffee, on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. This is depleting your adrenals, wrecking your hormones, and causing all of that anxiety that you're feeling through the day, okay? So please, if you're going to drink your caffeinated drink, drink it after you've eaten breakfast. Start with something like a dandelion tea, which is what I made. I kind of made my own. There's something called Dandy Blend. It's really good. Some people like the mushroom coffees. There's lots of choices out there that's non-caffeinated, but you can still enjoy your warm drink. If you're working on gut health, something that's really good for you is a meat stock drink. It's similar to bone broth, but it's not cooked as long, and so it's actually easier on the body. So these are all just little things that you can do to restore your body so that you can start building the foundations to find simple joys in life again. So what you're not doing, again, you're not affirming your way into joy. You're not making something out of what you're doing, okay? You're just, if you want to go outside and just, if you're in the sunlight, you're going to go outside and you're just going to notice things, okay? Just notice things. This is kind of a grounding exercise, right? Like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit anxious and overstimulated, so I'm just going to notice my feet are on the ground. I'm going to notice my breath. I'm going to notice the air moving around me. I'm going to notice some things to get my mind out of the inner turmoil going on. I'm going to disrupt that thought pattern and come externally, right? I'm going to be like an external observer of myself, kind of remove myself from me and observe me from an exterior place. This is actually a very helpful exercise. So, sitting outside in the sun for 20 minutes can help your nervous system settle, but only if your body has the resources to regulate. If you're depleted, no amount of grounding will override low minerals, underfueling, or constant stress load. So, I just want to reiterate that, because if you've been trying to ground, and grounding is like a huge, fad right now, like everyone wants to ground and do all the things, but if you're not replenishing those minerals and getting the nutrients into your body every day, it's still going to be stuck in that stress mode. So to recap, joy isn't something that you chase. It's something that returns as the body rebuilds capacity. And small moments matter because they signal safety, not because they're cute, okay? We're not going to just follow fads just to follow the fad or what's popular. We're going to actually lean in and say, okay, what's the healthy balance here? What actually makes sense? So when we stop forcing ourselves to feel better and start supporting the body, joy can come back quietly. And this is the type of work that I do with women. I help the body come out of survival so that life feels lighter again, one small shift at a time. So thank you for being here with me. Make sure you download my free resources that I submitted to the summit. And I would love to see you on my email list and sign up for that. My main work that I am doing with women right now is a 1-hour coaching call that does not offer the HTMA test. It's just a short, quick get in with me. If you want to figure out some amazing strategies to start doing the things that we talked about in this summit today, then get on my email list. You can go to join.cassiehutton.com to check out all that I have, or you can go to cassiehutton.com to learn more about what I offer and to follow along. I am hoping and praying that you find the joy that you've been searching for in the little things, because there's not always going to be great big joys every single day. It would be amazing to wake up like it's Christmas morning every single day, right? But that's probably not reality. And so finding the little joys again is probably something that if you're watching this, you've been telling yourself, like, I've lost my joy. I don't find joy in the things that I used to find joy in, and it sucks. And so I'm here to work along with you to help you find that. Have a good one. See you inside the summit.